So, with the recent death of Nelson Mandela, everyone's been doing all these memorials, all these talks about him. He's even in the recent magazine I just saw at the store. But you go up to any kid on the street, half of them will answer, "Who's Nelson Mandela?" And it's kind of shocking because Nelson Mandela, this person who fought against apartheid, this person who literally changed South Africa, is so unknown to pretty much the newest generation of the world. So what was so special about him, right? What makes him so great? That's why nobody knows him. Half the people in this world hardly know who this person is, let alone what he did. And it's saddening because you would assume that this great person who's recognized worldwide isn't even known by the world. So, I mean, what made him so great? It was the fact that he was a great leader, or was it the fact that he changed South Africa? Both, actually. But what made him such a great leader? That's a bit of it's a bit of big topic. It takes a lot of understanding and discussing in order to go through. But I mean, in terms of him and how he changed South Africa, what made him such a great leader? Well, what I'm gonna talk about next is gonna pretty much define that. So, so what made Nelson Mandela this great leader? Was it the fact that he was African? Was it the fact that he went to prison for 27 years? Yes, but no. It wasn't because he was African. That's irrelevant. But what made him such a great leader was the fact that he knew how to sacrifice. He knew what it was like to sacrifice 27 years of his life for what he believed in. He went to prison for 27 years on the terms of conspiracy just to fight for apartheid, fight against apartheid, because it wasn't something he believed in. So he decided it would be best if he tries to diminish this segregation between the two races, and through that segregation, through that fighting against it, he was arrested and he went against apartheid. He went to prison for 27 years. He lost his family. He lost essentially everything in this fight, except he did not lose the support of the South Africans while he was in prison. Yeah, it was terrible because what he fought for, he believed what he fought for was just gone, just wasted away because all his efforts were put in towards this prison that he was being held in. But no, everyone everyone awaited his return, his coming out of prison, but everyone just they supported him. They voted, and that's what led to the greater South Africa that we know. But I mean, what else that made him such a great leader was that he was a bit of a risk taker. He knew how important it was to take risks, and he knew that without risks he couldn't run properly. He couldn't be the proper leader that everyone wanted, right? For example, in Invictus, there was this line where there was a scene actually where the Africans they were they were protesting against the Springboks, against abolishing this team, changing the name, changing the colors, pretty much changing the whole team just because Mandela was the leader. They thought they could change everything they need, right? But then Mandela he figures no, I'm not gonna let this happen. I don't stand for this, right? He figures that he'll go in, intervene, and stop them from changing it. So of course he does. He drops all his duties, and he goes right to this place of protest, and he just he kind of pretty much stops the entire thing. He tells them that if they take away what the whites cherish most, then they lose the support. He, at this point, everyone knows that he's all he really wants is he just wants the unity of South Africa to just join together. But what really caught my attention was this one line before he headed there. It was uh, it was the day I am afraid to take risks is the day that I am unfit to lead, and that kind of hit me like like a truck. That was probably the most important line in the movie because that signifies what he's willing to do to fight for what he wants, and it pretty much describes the measures he's going to take just to get what he wants to get a better South Africa, in a sense. Now, lastly, what made him such the great leader he is, the reason why he was elected into presidency was that he was hell bent on equality. He pretty much eat, dreams, and sleep of equality. That was all that was on his mind. That's all he ever thought about was just equality between the Africans and the whites. He just wanted them to be one proper country. He wanted them to be unified, right? So, what was so special about equality? Well, you would assume that once once this whole segregated country would was taken over by an African, technically taken over. You would assume that he'd favor the Africans more than the whites, right? You would assume that he'd give all the privileges to the Africans and give them give them special treatment as opposed to the whites. You'd assume he'd treat the whites like trash, but no. That's the great thing is that he gave everybody equal rights. He kept the whites where they were, but he brought the blacks up to where they were too. He he fought for what he believed in. He fought for the abolishing of apartheid, and he did it. He brought South Africa together, and that's what made him such a great leader. Is that he he only cared about equality. That's why he wanted to become the president, was because all he cared about was equality. That's all he wanted. He just wanted racial equality within South Africa, and that's all that mattered to him. No other affairs outside of South Africa. He wanted equality between two places, and that's what I think made him such a great leader. Was the fact that the sacrifice and and everything else is just the risk taking. He just made South Africa the better South Africa it was. All of that, I just wanted to go towards equality and towards what he believed in, and that's what I think really mattered in the end.